This video is the third in a series of 6 videos. This series will give you all the necessary information to install a good and reliable camera system while helping to remove any uncertainty associated with purchasing the proper hardware. Simply put, the goal of this series is to help you determine the appropriate system hardware and components to ensure proper protection of your most valued assets. In this video, I intend to talk about the elements that you'll want to consider when planning the layout of your surveillance system. That's up next in this segment of Bud's Odd Jobs, the DIY best source for home improvement hints, tips, and how-to videos. If you missed the previous segments of this series, allow me to encourage you to take the opportunity to review them. Particularly, I suggest that you watch the previous video in which I compared and contrast PoE or Power over Ethernet cameras to Wi-Fi cameras and suggest the best camera type for monitoring the exterior perimeter of your home. That said, let's talk about the need to carefully plan and lay out your system before purchasing your equipment. Planning your surveillance system layout will eliminate many of the errors and pitfalls that will occur if you just jump ahead and purchase your hardware. You must give focused consideration of where you will place your cameras and your network video recorder. Let's begin with camera placement. Your camera mounting points will ultimately influence the placement of your network video recorder. This is due to the fact that the NVR should be placed in the approximate center of your cameras so that cable runs are somewhat equal distances. So what are the biggest factors that influence your choice of the mounting points for your cameras? First and foremost, you want to determine if you will be able to easily access these mounting points. If you are able to run your cables to an attic, you typically can gain easier access to your home's eaves, which can simplify your cable runs. Also, while considering your wire runs, you'll need to think about ways to conceal your network cabling as much as possible. You can do this by running cable in your eaves, within soffit, under siding corner caps, and also under siding panels. This assumes, of course, that your home is constructed with vinyl. In addition to having the ability to access mounting points, you must also consider whether the intended location gives you acceptable viewing coverage of the areas that you need to monitor. You most certainly want to ensure that you have high visibility of your front and back doors, your driveway, and any windows that are not viewable by neighbors or by someone passing by on the main street. According to the article Burglar-Resistant Homes, written by Nick Gromyko and Kenton Shepard, 34% of burglars enter through the front door. 23% enter through the first floor window, 22% enter through the back door, and 9% enter through the garage. Therefore, these access points will need special consideration when planning the layout of your monitoring areas. The most effective way to determine the surveillance layout of your property is to make a rough layout of your home. Be sure to include roads and nearby residences on your sketch to help identify areas of vulnerability. The monitoring of front and rear doors is vital, as statistically, these are the access points for the majority of most forced entries. Another factor to consider when laying out your cameras is what I call redundancy of video coverage. This is basically having cameras in the viewing scope of other cameras so that your equipment cannot be accessed or tampered with without the vandal's actions being recorded. One way to achieve this is by attempting to conceal your live cameras while mounting a dummy camera in plain view. The sight of any exterior camera should be ample to persuade a potential vandal to move on to another home. However, if the vandal determines to damage your dummy camera, the act will be recorded while the cost of the camera loss will be minimal. The final thing that you'll want to do while installing your outdoor cameras is to choose mounting points that will place your equipment at a height of 10 feet or more above the ground level. This way, a potential vandal will need to take additional time and effort to attempt to damage or disable your cameras. So you may be asking yourself, how many cameras will you need to purchase? Your layout plan will help you answer this question. Your camera count will vary based on the size and layout of your home and the number of access or entry points. The Amcrest video network recorder that I use accommodates up to 8 cameras, which should be ample for most home surveillance applications. I have included the NVR model number for your convenience in my list of components, which is included in the description below this video. Now let's take the opportunity to address the placement of the NVR, or the network video recorder. As mentioned previously, you should attempt to place the NVR in the center of your intended camera mounting points to try to ensure fairly equal network cable distance to each camera. Preferably, the recorder should be placed in an area where it can be concealed and perhaps even secured. Concealment is important because any savvy intruder will likely attempt to remove or destroy the NVR to eliminate any evidence of his or her intrusion. Finally, you must also consider the number of barriers that you must drill through to run your network cable to your cameras. Any location that permits you to minimize the drilling of walls and ceilings to run cables is preferable. In my case, I needed to remove a section of the wall in my garage to run Ethernet network cable to my attic. Once I had the cables in my attic, it was much easier to run cables to my camera mounting points. As a side note, when I did my initial installation, I was installing only 4 cameras. However, I had the foresight to run a 5th cable just in the event that I wanted to install an additional camera at some point in time. That decision turned out to be good because recently I decided to install a 5th camera on the ceiling of my garage interior. I would therefore recommend that you pull additional wire when you're making your wire runs, just in case you may want to install additional cameras at some point in the future. The final consideration for the placement of your NVR is whether or not your intended location is near a power outlet. It's great to place your NVR in a false wall, a locking cabinet, or a closet, but your concealed location must have a power source, or otherwise it's not going to work for you. I trust the information presented in this video has gotten you a little more comfortable with installing your own surveillance system. If you are considering the installation of a security camera system, I am certain that you will eventually come to the same conclusion that I did. The relatively low cost and minimal effort needed to install a good and reliable camera system is not only a good idea, it's a very wise investment. The peace of mind I have gained after installing my Amcrest system is invaluable to me. If you are considering the possible purchase of a security camera system, I encourage you to smash that subscribe button and also to check out the product links listed below. In addition, be sure to click on the notification bell to get automatic notifications of additional videos in this series. If you're already a subscriber, let me take the opportunity to thank you for your help in getting me established as a new YouTube creator. Your subscription and continued loyalty are greatly appreciated. It's important to me that I am targeting my subscribers' needs for video content. If I'm missing the target, please comment below about additional topics that you would like me to cover. I encourage and appreciate your comments and suggestions. Finally, if this video content was helpful to you, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. Hey, thanks for watching this segment on home video surveillance. I trust it was helpful to you. We'll see you in the next segment. Bye for now.